ways of contacting is that what you truly want to do is, in that phase, is to contact people and get them to your presentation. Now, it's very important for you to use a system, okay? This is not the show up and throw up kind of thing that we talked about a minute ago. You know, if you call me on the phone and you say, "Hey Debbie, what are you up to?" "Oh, not much, just watching the news or something." And you say, "Hey, well, I got a new business I want to tell you about. You know, I got in this thing now and I'm selling vitamins, and you know, you can get people in and you can make this kind of money, and if you do this and this and this and this," you know what? You have lost me after about 3 seconds into it. So I don't care how good of a salesperson you are, you need to use the system. So here's the type of approach that you're going to want to use, because you want it to be tailored to what you know about that person. That's why it's important, when we talked about it a few minutes ago, that you have relationships with people, whether they're personal or social media type relationships. That's why it's important to know something about that person. So here's an example. Say I go up to Jane. Maybe I run into her in the grocery store and I say, "Jane, you know, you've expressed to me before that you're very worried about being laid off at your job, that things aren't so great with your boss. But you know what? I found something that I think could be an answer for you. Take a look at this, and I want to give you a call tomorrow night and see what you think." And I hand Jane my business card that has my website on it. Then I simply say, "Thanks, I'll talk to you tomorrow night," and I'll walk away. My goal is not to tell Jane about it. I don't want to waste her time. If she says, "What is this?" then I say, "You know what, it's hard for me to explain. Just look at the website. That'll be a whole lot easier, and then I'll call you back and we can talk a little bit more about it after that." So I'm going to walk away from the grocery store, I'm getting my car, and I'm going on home. The next night I follow up with Jane. I say, "Jane, have you taken a look at the video, or at the video on my website yet?" And she might say, "You know, no, I haven't had a chance to do that. I've been busy." I say, "I tell you what, I'm really excited for you to take a look at it. I know you're busy. I'll call you back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. That should give you plenty of time to look at it, because it's only a 10-minute presentation." Okay, if I tell Jane that, then in a very business-like fashion, I'm going to call Jane back the next night at 8 o'clock, because that's what I said I would do. And I'm going to follow up with Jane and say, "Jane, have you had a chance to look at the video yet?" She'll say, "Yeah, you know what, I did." Say, "Well, I think that it's a great way for you to be able to give yourself some security, given everything that's going on with your job right now. What do you think?" And then I have to shut up. I've got to zip it up and let Jane answer, because you know what? Jane's either going to come back to me and say, "Yes, I think it's great. I want to know more." Or she's going to say, "Well, I don't know. I'm not sure about this. I've got some questions. I don't really understand." In that case, I want to answer her questions, or use that as an opportunity to get my sponsor or somebody else I have a relationship with who knows a lot about the company, maybe can answer her questions. I want to get them on a 3-way call with Jane to answer those questions. Or if Jane simply says, "No, this is not for me," then I say, "Okay, well, if you change your mind later or decide you want to hear more about it at some other point in time, then, that's fine. Just let me know. Hey, we're still going to be friends no matter. So it does not make any difference to me one way or the other." And then just leave it alone, guys. Jane doesn't need to be badgered. Jane doesn't need a sermon, and Jane doesn't need a sales pitch. She doesn't need to know what I'm going to do or how grand I think I'm going to do it. Okay? What Jane needs to know is that that's all right. You're not going to harass her, and leave the door open for Jane to call you back if she thinks about it and decides later that it's something she might want to pursue. I would suggest not following up with people any more than 3 times. If you call them that 3rd time and they say, "I still haven't looked at it, I haven't had time," whatever excuses, you'll hear every one of them in this industry, I can promise you. It's probably not anything that we have not all heard at some point in time. So that's not odd. Nobody's being mean to you personally. It's what we all go through. But after the 3rd time you followed up, just let them go. Just drop it, because it's not worth it. It's just not worth badgering people over. If they don't want to come in and they don't have any more initiative than to sit down and watch a 10-minute presentation online, then do you really think they're going to have initiative to build a business? So, they probably won't. But if in fact at some point in time down the road they decide that they want to look at the presentation, that's their decision, that's them doing it, and then they might come into your business and actually do something. Now, if Jane says she doesn't want to do it, then I'm going back to my old trusty list and I'm going to mark her right off of there. If Jane says she does, then obviously I'm going to mark her off of there too, because I'm going to go ahead and put her on my list of new representatives who just joined my team. At any rate, throughout all of this, guys, it is not ever worth destroying your friendships. It's not worth making family members mad at you. It's not worth people turning around and running when they see you coming, because I know people like that. And I do not want to be that person who people say, oh my God, here comes Debbie, and they turn around and run because they think I'm going to try to talk to them about joining my business. That is not what we're all about. We're about building teams, whether it's through the people you come in contact with, or again, through people maybe that you meet on the internet. And it's about building teams of people through that. It's not about coercing, it's not about forcing. It's about getting people with common goals and desires to join your team, people who have a why, who want to come and work with you because they want something more for their lives. So again, step 1 is build a list. Step 2 is contact and get people to watch a presentation. And again, on that presentation, it's the system doing it. It's not you, okay? The system drives it, not the individual. Because you want to make sure everybody on your team has the same opportunity, let's put it that way, that you do. And if you're depending on yourself to talk and tell the story, maybe you can do it, but I promise you 90% of people cannot. So you've got to stick to the system just like everybody else needs to. And if you work people through that system, approach them, get them to watch the presentation or go to a meeting, whatever your business requires or suggests, then you want to follow up with that person, because that is very, very key. The follow-up has to be done in a timely manner. And then you're either going to put that person on your team or you're going to move them off your list. Those are your 4 steps. It's as simple as that. But in the process, you're making friends, you're building your team, and you're making sure that you don't destroy any relationships that you've got. You know, guys, every day there are people out there, dozens and dozens of people, thousands of people, who are looking for what you've got. So all you have to do is keep going down your list and sorting through the people, and you will find people who are looking for you.